I'm disappointed to say that there was very little change in the markets after this morning's US economic reports. GDP was weaker than expected. PCE deflator was weaker than expected. Personal income also weaker, and the spending numbers were in line. Personal income was in line, but still lower than previous month. All of this basically points to overall weakness in US data, the US economy. I've been surprised because yesterday I told you that GDP is made up of two components, which is retail sales and inflation, both of which slowed according to the last quarter. So you would have been prepared. And I always say the markets reward the prepared, and it's important to understand that. Overall, though, it seems like the market's focusing on the geopolitical risk and other factors because the dollar, which initially pulled back, rebounded a little bit. Stocks remained under pressure, gold remained bid, and I think everyone's just focusing on the geopolitical tensions. Next week, we don't have much in the way of US data, not like this week. This week, we had a lot of US data, but not so market moving in terms of action. The PMIs from the other countries were probably more interesting. Eurozone has stronger PMIs, although the details were still kind of a little weak. UK had really good PMIs along with really good retail sales numbers. Canada, the trade data was kind of mixed, and Australia had weaker PMIs. So we're starting to see a little bit of weakness in Australian data, a little bit of strength and stability maybe in UK data. We'll have to see. Eurozone state data also kind of mixed. But as for the US, I think there's clear signs that there's a slowdown happening. And I think it's going to manifest itself in weakness in equities as well as weakness in the dollar, along with some strength in gold. But of course, it is going to be the Iran tensions that really has investors focused on for the weekend, for the rest of day, Friday. And I think there's going to be liquidation ahead of this high risk events. And I would too, which is why I think knowing when to trade, knowing when not to trade is very important. When markets open on Sunday, we'll see if anything happened over the weekend. If nothing, it will be business as usual. If something, you've got to be careful. You've got to take those positions small. You've got to get in and out quickly. It's a better way to wait for the dust to settle, the new trading session, than to jump into the move. But it could be some interesting trading opportunities if we do have some events. Of course, from a social perspective, I definitely don't expect. I do not hope for that to happen because that would certainly be disastrous for many people.